Hello, cherished viewers. You're once again welcome to Patriots TV. NPP Weekly is the program. Today we have very special people in the studios, and on my far left, I would want him to introduce himself.
Okay, my name is Dako, but affectionately called Baumia.
Affectionately called?
Baumia.
Baumia, okay.
Accra Technical University Tescon President.
Okay. Please, are you related to the Vice President? People have that ambiguity in mind.
We'll talk about this later.
Okay. Please, may I know your name?
All right. I'm Edubuahim Daniel,
okay.
University of Ghana, level 300 students.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you also related to the late Professor Albert Edubuahim?
Not really.
Yeah, not related. Not really, or you're not related?
We talk about that like my brother says.
So today we are going to delve into very critical issues relating to the New Patriotic Party. We've had an internal restructuring process. We've had a national delegate election. Prior to that, we did our constituency polling station and then the regional delegate election. The election is over. Various candidates won. Some also lost. Now we are going to look at the aftermath of the election, the new executives, how they've been able to manage the affairs of the party. And then subsequently, we would also talk about the unity of the party, which has, for the past few days, been a very topical issue as the party celebrated its 30th anniversary. So I will start with Baumia, as they affectionately call him, Mr. Emmanuel Dako. Mr. Dako, what is your view? What has been your view of the electioneering process and the aftermath of it, especially? How have the executives fared in your perspective, from your perspective? How have they fared?
For me, I think that the NPP has done a very good job, starting from the polling station to the constituency, to the regional, and to the national level. We didn't hear any major issues during the election. The national election was conducted smoothly, just that the only problem was, as you know, the issue of the Tescon, and the current national youth organizer, one way or the other, is working on that. It's just that we expect him to expedite on whatever he's doing, touch so many regions, go to so many institutions, not just in Greater Accra, but in the other regions, just as when he was going for his campaign. So we would like him to go to the other institutions throughout Ghana and make sure that the M-party within the Tescon institutions is being taken out, the party rather, is being taken out there. But aside, I think that the electioneering process from the constituency to the regional to the national level was a success.
Was a success. Quickly, Edubuahim, would you say same, or you have a contrary opinion?
Oh, okay, great. I think it was smooth, but every process, you can't get every process to be 100% smooth, though there were one or two things, but going forward, we all will come together and put things in place. So I think I'm siding with him. Yeah, okay. I will second that.
The executives were sworn in that very morning that they were elected. Means that their responsibility as executives of the New Patriotic Party began right from the stadium. Have they lived to your expectations so far?
So far, so good. I think that, we have some of them who were already executives, the likes of Madam Kate, Jim Fua, with Honorable Futa. They have been in position. So they just seek for re-election. And if they didn't perform, I don't think that the delegate would have voted for them. I think that they performed, and I hope they continue with their good works. Talking about the new faces, like the likes of Dr. Jamina, which is Dr. China, with the likes of our chairman, Chairman Stephen in team, and the general secretary, I think that they've lived so far so good. They've lived out to expectation. Talking, let me say this with our general secretary, that's Justin Frimpong Kodia. Before he became the general secretary, there were so many forces against him, but so far so good. He has been able to bring all those who were even campaigning against him closer to, he organized a party, and we saw the likes of there's Ashanti Regional Chairman. Yes, Chairman Otumi, who was really, really strongly against his campaign, who even gathered the other regional chairman to campaign against
to
him.
endorse his opponent.
Exactly. But just after the election, he called all of them together because we believe that in unity we can assure ourselves of victory 2024. Because already we shouldn't deceive ourselves. We know that one way or the other, some aspects of Ghanaians don't really understand the situation that we are in right now, that they need more of communication to understand. So, and if we should go into such an election like election 2024 and we don't have this unity among ourselves, I think that it will be so difficult for us. So far so good. I think that how the General Secretary, has started his work, I think it will go a long way to help us in 2024.
You talked about unity. We'll delve into unity later on. I think that is a topic subsequently. Okay. But what is your opinion on the performance of the executive so far?
Okay, great. The performance of
the executive from the new National Youth Organizer. He has been to your campus, I'm told.
Great.
And the General Secretary, Kodia, there's Frimpong Kodia. How would you rate their performance and how are they doing?
Okay, great. So with the National Youth Organizer, I've personally engaged him one or two. I think even last night we had a meeting on how we are going to plan TESCON elections on campus. I mean, he's doing great. Personally, prior to the elections, I have not met him, talked to him, but seeing him yesterday, I like the energy, yes, the energy and everything. So I think we can't start rating them now. It's quite some few months, few weeks. So they're doing. Lawyer is doing great. Lawyer is doing great.
Which lawyer are you talking about, please?
Lawyer Frimpong Kodia.
Okay.
He's doing great. What you see, some of the main hierarchy, you start seeing Chairman Wood to me, and one of the other starts endorsing candidates, and we all saw the recent initiative he brought out that every individual, every party person at the top who can be an influence to the grassroots shouldn't involve themselves in the presidential.
We're talking about that,
now.
Not to cut you, but don't you think it's also an indictment on the rights of the people? Since we are in a democracy and they have the right to support who they want, they have the right to advocate for who they believe would do well. So restricting them to staying away or abstaining from the presidential, election, or abstaining from expressing their love and admiration for a particular candidate they may deem competent enough. Don't you think it's an indictment on their right?
All right, thank you very much for that question. But to before I go to that, I would like to talk a little about the current National Youth Organizer. Prior to this election, I wasn't part of his campaign. I wasn't supporting, but I think that so far so good. He's doing his best, and I think he should be appreciated.
Is his best enough so far?
As I said, it starts from somewhere.
Okay.
So far so good. I think that he's doing his best. We just hope that he puts in more effort and also bring in more people to help him in his administration. But so far so good. I think that he has done well. And also, my brother said it is not a time for us to. It's not yet time for us to rate them. But I can't have a saying. Say agrobe so if you are not so yes. So I think that as they've started right now, we can still judge them from what they've
done so far.
Yes. So to go to that, your question. Same thing that happened in the regional election, in the national election. I think that's what the General Secretary is trying to prevent. Yes, because if you are a regional executive and you tend to openly support a candidate, what if that candidate loses the election? It means that candidate can't, the winner, one way or the other will feel like, I can't work with you because you openly campaign against me. And if you are being given an opportunity in my campaign or anything, you would like to fight against me to prove that, yes, you not supporting me was a good option. Well, so I think that regional executives, constituency executives who have influence, even though if you don't have influence and you occupy a position in such levels, you shouldn't openly campaign against any candidate or for any candidate
So you
prevent.
You believe the law endorses such order of restraint?
It is done that way. To make let's take the life of Justin Frimpong Kodia. He was able to forgive the sins of his fellows.
Political sins.
No, yeah, there was a political sin which is never forgiven, but he has forgiven them their sins because he believes there is a battle ahead of us which needs all of us on board. Not every candidate will be able to do such a thing. So to prevent that instance whereby a candidate will feel, you campaign against me, I can't work with you, but maybe you also have an influence on a group of people who you can garner to garner votes from. I think that if he resists you or desists you from coming close to his campaign, it will affect the political party in general, not he as a candidate. So I think that instruction or that communique that came out from the office of the General Secretary is in the right direction.
Okay, it is in the right direction, as my brother from ATU is saying. Edu, any last words on this particular subject matter?
Okay, so for me, you said something great. You're like, are we not infringing on their rights or something? Of course, I get you, but every institution, every association, or let's say a party, is having a constitution that governs the association or the institution. When you go to the University of Ghana, for instance, you have your rights though, but it's not everything, not everywhere that you can do or you can access. You get me? So this is a situation where our constitution it's in our constitution, and per the release from our General Secretary, it's clear inside. So I think it's in the right direction. So that's great.
Okay, it is in the right direction. That is what my panelists are saying. I may have a contrary view, but these are people who are in the party hierarchy. They are actively involved in the party structure, and they have shared their opinion on what they believe would be best for the party. Now let's look at the NPP at 30 years. NPP is 30 years old. It was 30 years old on, I think, about a few days ago. And we had a very wonderful celebration, starting from the media engagement, subsequently to the attendance at the National Mosque, which I think the Vice President touted a very powerful statement that one's religious leaning shouldn't influence or shouldn't be allowed to influence one's choice when it comes to electing a leader, because it doesn't matter religious backgrounds, anybody can lead. I believe that was in a good direction. Now we proceeded, we graced everything with the Sunday service at UPSA auditorium. And during the service, I think one of the invited preachers touched on a very key thing. That is the unity of the party. In fact, per what we saw in the media domain, he didn't mince words. He was straightforward, he was exact, and then he punched hard. I mean, in the faces of all the party executives and leaders in governments that were seated there. Do you agree with him and his approach?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And before talking about his punchlines and everything, 30 years of NPP has been a very great journey. Because when it comes to all social interventions in Ghana, as through the New Patriotic Party, you can mention the likes of NHIS, the one district, one factory, one village, one dam, one constituency.
One village, one dam.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later. Is it still, are the dams still or they've dried up?
For that, I think it will be prudent that we go and then have a look at. You know, we have, I think our station have a correspondent, then they can report from there. I think if there was a problem with that,
we'll subsequently look into that. Let's stick to the subject.
So, and as I said, all these social interventions being brought to light, 30 years of NPP, we've done a very great job. What the preacher spoke about was on point. Sometimes the Bible makes us understand that he that the Lord loves, he chastises.
Are you a pastor as well? Well, let's proceed.
So sometimes you don't need to be listening to all the sweet words, because most of the time the sweet words might be deceiving. The accounts also have a saying that the ultra synonyms in the church here. Into once you need someone to correct you, and the corrections too shouldn't come in a way of pampering. Sometimes it comes in punches. You need to receive it. You need to receive it when there is punches. You need to receive it too
when there is heat in the message.
Exactly. So for me, I side with the man of God. And as he said, unity. We really need unity as we go into the 2024 election. 2024 election, we don't need any division in our party. Divided we fall, united we stand.
Okay. So I would like to touch on something. In the 1979 election in Ghana, I think the MPP tradition, as they say, Dankwa Dombobusia tradition, emanated from somewhere. But you realize that in 1979 election, there was this sharp division. Victor Usu and Ofoyata William, the UNC and I think the PFP, if my memory serves me right. And that cost the tradition a lot.
Exactly.
It cost the tradition that election. And Liman won and subsequently was overthrown in 81 by Chairman Rawlings.
Yes.
With I think the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council or so. Now, it has been proven, I mean, per history, that indeed division is what would let the MPP go into opposition. But is it just about the party's unity, or you believe that performance-wise, the MPP could have done better because Ghanaians expected so much from the party?
Prior to the coming of COVID, you can testify to it. Per the performance
what can I
of
testify? Okay.
The economy was running on a positive way. Our city was appreciating as against the dollar.
It was quite stable. It wasn't appreciating because it's hard for the city to appreciate against the dollar.
But it did. I'm not having the figures right, but one way or it did one of those years, and inflation was on the low. We were having when you check our interest rates, everything was running on a positive line. But in the coming of COVID, it's not only in Ghana. COVID, the rush. Sometimes when you mention this, some people tend to
that's
ridicule.
the slogan now.
No,
talk about hardships. It is no more about management, but rather Ukraine and Russian war and then COVID.
Exactly. As I'm saying, sometimes when you mention this thing, we have our brothers and sisters from the other side tend to ridicule that everything that you say, based when you are underperforming, you say Russia-Ukraine war. And if you should be listening to BBC, the likes of BBC, like CNN, Al Jazeera, that's when you get more of the foreign news, and you know how other foreign countries are suffering. So when it comes to performance, before the COVID and Ukraine, we were doing better, we were doing best. Even in COVID, this government is performing. Because when you compare the performance of the NPP government in Ghana as compared to other countries, you will see that we are really performing. But the ordinary Ghanaian down there won't understand it that way. What he or she wants is that he wakes up in the morning, everything is going on smoothly. He won't like to go and then yesterday he bought for 1 cedi, today is being sold for 1 cedi, 50% or 2 cedis. So such people need much education. Such people need much of good communication to understand. So we need people who also understand their language to speak to them, for them to also understand.
So if I'm to get you right, it is more of an issue related to the party's ineffective communication.
Exactly. So we need to work. One, our performance, we need to man it up. In as much as we are doing good, we need to man it up. Two, we need to work on our communication. That's the second aspect. We need to let the people understand. We need to understand the people and speak the language of the people for them to understand the situation. Thirdly, unity is what we need going to 2024 election. Because if we go into 2024 election with a divided front, I'm promising you, we will come out losers. But if we should go in as a united front, I'm telling you the fact, we are coming out as winners no matter our candidate.
Okay, no matter our candidate, we are coming out as winners if we unify. Do you agree with the man of God? Have you watched the excerpt?
I was there personally.
You were there, okay. So you can give us a
yeah.
better picture of what
Yes.
you achieved.
So, Edion, before I come on that, I think I have to commend the party executives. They did great for this organization. I mean, the Thanksgiving service from the Islamic side to the Christianity side. I mean, it's great. You said same that it's great. Religious things, you have to. I don't want to believe there is a faction when it comes to this primaries, presidential primaries. People believe religion. I don't want to talk about that. I mean, I think the decision needs to be taken by the grassroots. I mean, the delegates.
Polling station executives,
yes,
the constituency.
Yes, the delegates.
But I think you talked about something. I had people also share genuine concerns that ideally for a party's 30th anniversary, not just a Thanksgiving service for executives who have been elected, but for a party's 30th anniversary, the auditorium should have been filled to the brim, and even there should have been an overflow of people. Is it an indication of apathy or dissatisfaction in the system?
Well, I don't know the rationale behind the arrangements anyway.
So, in organization-wise, there is a flaw.
I think maybe we are not in the right time. Do everything. We are trying to recover from one or two things, the COVID issue and things. It can be a reason.
No. COVID wasn't any reason because there were no restrictions per my information.
Are you saying there was? Yes.
I'm referring to the attendance.
The attendance.
Yes.
Well, and I think that timing too easy. We don't. A lot of us don't
It's
joke
all
with
part
that.
of organization.
I was there personally. Do you have
a brief comment? I'll get back to you. Do you have a brief comment on the attendance? Because I'm told they didn't meet expectations.
I think apathy counts. That's what I'm saying. Going into it for election, we shouldn't tickle ourselves and laugh. Yes, apathy might be one of the reasons, which I think the party needs to work and make sure that we reduce the level of apathy in our party.
Great.
Second, because let's take TESCON for example. TESCON, we had, I'm a TESCON president.
Yeah,
we had.
And you are a lead petitioner in the case of the disenfranchised TESCON presidents.
Many TESCON presidents didn't come for the function because of what happened at the stadium. We're on a platform, and they said they are not going.
But beyond that, had there been measures that had been put in place to convey them?
That's what I'm saying, that as the National Youth Organizer has started something, he shouldn't only do it in Greater Accra or University of Ghana, Legon. He should go across. Like Greater Accra, find an auditorium, call all Greater Accra TESCON executives, talk to them, go to other regions, and make sure that apathy has been taken out. Secondly, this UPSC, you won't get every day in Greater Accra. It's on Sunday. Someone might prefer to go to his or her own church. For personally, I went to my church before I came there. And I think that might also be the reason some others too like to go to their personal church before coming there afterward.
So you think the reason is not entirely apathy?
No, not only apathy. It's apathy. Apathy is one. Two, others might prefer to go to their preferred churches. Three, we are doing the thing in Greater Accra. Someone might not like to come from Upper East, Upper West to just for a church service.
On duty, especially executives, because I see there are 275 constituencies.
Yes.
There are over 200,000 polling station executives.
And that's what I'm saying, that even with the constituency,
measures are put in place, right? To get people to attend the program as essential as the 30th anniversary of the ruling New Patriotic Party. And an auditorium, just an auditorium that is always filled on every Sunday by a church. Young church as CUIC.
I'm coming.
Cannot be filled to the brim. Is it an organizational problem?
I don't think it's an organizational problem. That's what I'm saying, that apathy counts, because TESCON president, that's where I can speak from. TESCON president didn't come because of what happened.
There are only 291.
291 is not only. In politics, we deal with numbers.
But in filling auditorium, 291 is a mere number.
It's not a mere number.
Okay, sure.
Because
that is your opinion.
It's not a mere number.
Do you
let me land. So as I was saying, it was apathy 1, 2, and also we didn't bus people to the auditorium.
So you're saying it was natural.
It was natural.
By free will of
yes,
people.
but down there was filled. Up there, you could see that there was just 1 or 2 spaces up there. I
Oh,
was
you
there.
at the
I was
auditorium.
at the
Okay,
auditorium. You could, and also we had people who were outside. Many of them were outside
That's one thing I wanted to.
while the service was going on.
So that is an issue. You see, that is an issue. Someone can also raise a very key point on discipline during party functions.
You not get
When there are seats that are empty, the media is putting. You talked about politics is about numbers. The media is putting an impression out there. So it means, I mean, as part of the effort of the new executives, that issue of discipline must also be.
Listen, they are adults. You can't push them.
You
down.
can't force them, but if you set the rules.
There
NPP is a law-abiding party.
There wasn't any rule that when you come, go and sit down.
So it means it should continue that party people attend programs and they should be outside. Is that your opinion?
If I go for a program and I think that I need to talk to someone outside, you can't.
You claim there were a lot of people, so it couldn't be that all of them were making calls outside.
I have not made any statement that someone is making.
That was just by the way. Let's the opinion on that.
I wouldn't want to stress this thing, but I was there personally.
Okay.
And I want to let you know what went on.
So briefly.
The thing is, a lot of people were outside. Me, for instance, if I were to be late, everybody wanted to be on the ground. They don't want to climb. Yes, that was the issue. We have about the number of people who were outside could fill the side we are talking about, but they were not willing to climb up there,
okay, sure.
like we're saying.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
so per the analysis I'm drawing from both arguments, it's clear that it wasn't a one-sided cause of a problem.
No,
yes,
but it was a diverse issues that came together, culminated into the problem we faced.
Great.
Now, briefly, I've seen a lot of massive infrastructural projects in the country. We can, since the NPP came, I'm off-head, there are no records that I have written, but off-head, I know the Tema Motorway project has been completed. I know the Pokwasi interchange. It was even 3rd year and they made it 4th year or so. I know the swamming. I mean, disbursement is about to be done. Parliament has approved for the swamming interchange that has been a problem since I think the 90s or so to be constructed finally. Tamale has, for the first time ever in its history, had its own share of an interchange. To this morning, from the wall of Club Yakwabna Santi, a good friend of mine on Facebook, there I think this road, Boku, Pumakan, there's a town in the northern Upper East or so.
Yeah.
A certain long stretch of over 100-kilometer road has been constructed. We see a lot of road projects. Somewhere in the central region, KE, I was there recently, and a 5-kilometer stretch from the junction of Commander to the inner city, the inner community, has for the first time since 2008 is now being constructed. What do you have to say about road infrastructure? Of the NPP, under the NPP?
This government is doing great when it comes to road infrastructure. As you mentioned some few, the Pokwasi interchange.
These
Tema,
are off-head roads I can remember.
We know of Tema, we know of Tamale. When you go to Ayawaso West Wagon, there were some roads which was bad,
dilapidated.
But today, when you come to my constituency, Ayawaso East constituency, Ayawaso North constituency, most of the roads has been. That's why I say that we are doing great. Our problem is communication.
Is it a problem of leadership or just communication? Because I was telling someone the other time, someone was making a suggestion of his ideal preference of a communications director. And the person was touting that the person is a good communicator. But I was of the opinion that looking at the NPP now, it is not about one person going out there being so fluent.
Exactly.
Being so eloquent.
Great. Yes.
Great.
And communicating on every platform.
Yes.
Great.
The person is just one individual.
Yes.
But a structural adjustment.
Thank you very much. Like minds work together.
And then I believe that my opinion is that, was to the person, was that we should get to a point where the average party member should have the confidence to defend the NPP in the truffle, to defend the NPP in the taxes,
exactly,
to defend the NPP at the marketplaces.
That ordinary Ghanaian will tell you, say, "Abide by minyashe." So what will he or she go out there to say to someone?
And it's a failure of leadership. I would say it's point blank. Okay. Do you think so too?
Okay. For me, I don't really think it's the failure of leadership. Okay. Are you talking about the previous leadership or the current leadership?
Previous leadership led us to where we are now.
Okay, so right now we have the chance, the opportunity to make changes, right?
To correct the wrong.
All right. So as we've gotten new leadership, we are expecting appointments to be made. I think the communications director should be given to someone who is competent.
Someone who can communicate well, or someone who can manage the party's communication bureau. Which of these two criteria do you place emphasis on them?
Or
both of them?
Yes.
Can you find both in one person?
You can.
Do you have any names?
I don't have any names offhand, and I'm not.
Please, I would want to know your opinion. I mean, there has been so much progress infrastructure-wise, though it came with a lot of debts. Or you don't agree?
No.
Okay. So people are not communicating these projects. People are not letting the average Ghanaian know what has been happening. Party people are refraining from commenting on such sensitive issues relating to the party. Do you think all these problems will be solved by selecting one person as the National Communications Director, or you believe it's a structural problem?
Great. Thank you very much, bro. For me, I think the two, like you said, getting both of them in an individual, I wouldn't say it's a necessity, but it would be very good for us. Yes, someone who can manage, train a lot of people, because like you were saying, okay, my brother said some of the party members are not so bold to defend, and it's not
about boldness. It is, you may have
are not willing.
They are not willing. Yes.
Oh, yes, and it's not always that they are not willing. I think sometimes they are ignorant. They don't know what's going on too.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's a good point.
Yes, so I think going forward, we should get in more members, training them to communicate. Yes.
So national communications training program for the party.
Yes, so we have the national communication team.
So 30 seconds each. Wrap up for what we've discussed so far. So we talked about the aftermath of the national election, the party's infrastructure projects, and then lack of communication. We talked about unity. Your final words.
I think that the party has done so far so good with the election. Also, I think we need to come together as a party, because the fight ahead of us in 2024 needs unity but not division. Also, the issue of the communication, I think that we should appoint someone who is competent, who is able to manage the communication structure in the party, bring in more people, more youth who can speak for the party. We have more, especially when it comes to TESCON, we have youth in TESCON who can speak for the party in Chi, in Dagati, in Hausa, in every language they can perform. So I think we should bring in the youth aspect and blend them with the elderly, which are the good communicators in the party already. Experienced communicators. We have researchers in TESCON. They should be brought into the party, because sometimes they think that, oh, we are doing so much well, but it seems the party is not seeing it. So I think that we should look at it very well.
Point well made. We should look at it very well.
Very well, and then
yes. Do you agree?
Right.
To say? Your final words. Your final words.
There is a saying, I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing strength in the new executives. Our commander, Salam Mustafa. I'm seeing strength in them, and I'm here saying we, the youth, are ready to support every movement, every process, so that come 2024, we secure the seat for our party. Okay,
so the youth are doing everything in their capacity, the youth of NPP for that matter, to ensure that the NPP secures victory come 2024. And before I go, there is a gentleman who is a vibrant party person with TESCON, University of Ghana City Campus, called Ube. Today is his birthday. And I would want to, myself and my panel members here would want to express our profound appreciation to him for his
He's
good
a solid
works.
guy.
He's a solid guy,
solid
they
guy.
say. And happy birthday to Obed. God bless you abundantly. My name is Jesse Ediam. I had here with me Emmanuel Darko, the TESCON president of Accra Technical University, and Daniel Idubuayin of the University of Ghana, TESCON. Once again, this is NPP Weekly. And stay tuned next week, stay tuned in the subsequent weeks. We'll bring you every issue that pertains to government and to the New Patriotic Party. Once again, we also want to wish Obed, a TESCON vibrant member of University of Ghana City Campus, a happy birthday. Today is his birthday, and we ask for God's blessings for him. Continue to do the good work for NPP. Thank you once again, viewers. We appreciate you.